No, my Heidi, my welcome. We have got Jim here and Liz, and we're going to work together to, a bit like my favourite Aesop's fable, The Sun and the Wind, try and get you so nice and warm that you can take off your cardigan and maybe take off your furry slippers like me. Opening up, hopefully, by the end of the class, you'll have a lovely open heart space, open shoulders, and open thoracic spine. And you'll be able to go upstairs or downstairs or to your lounge or to your bedroom and be lovely and relaxed afterwards. So this practice is a great antidote for huddling against the cold. It's been a really cold, rainy day in Wellington. We haven't had very many of those in lockdown, so great antidote to that, and a great antidote to all the desk work and screen work that you may be doing if you're working from home. So certainly that Jim's doing as part of his study. So we'll start. Jim's lying on his back. If you did have a blanket, that would be fantastic, or if you happen to have blocks, if you happen to have a wall space or even a door or a wardrobe door, that'd be great. Kia ora, Jessie. Jessie's here, Jim. That's great stuff. And is your mum practicing too, Jessie? That'd be great if she did. And then be a bit creative. We're going to use a strap, but you might have a belt or a dressing gown cord you could use as well. So really just using whatever you've got around the house. If you haven't got something, all good, don't worry. Okay, so Jim's going to start just lying on his back, and you can too. And we'll just begin to establish some lovely belly breathing. Maybe one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and just beginning to find that we're taking the breath down towards the belly. So inhaling, see if you can lift the hand with the belly, lifting up and relaxing. Exhale and lower. Beautiful. Inhaling, lift that hand, 3, 4, and exhale to lower. Beautiful. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, and lower, just let your elbow relax. And exhale and inhale. Beautiful. Just settling in here, finding some lovely peace. Oh, kia ora, Sarah. Well done. No kids. Fantastic work. Just settling. Letting go of the day, finding yourself nice and heavy on the mat there. Trying to slow your breath down if you can to that 5-second inhale and that 5-second exhale, which we know is a really effective way of turning our parasympathetic nervous system on, that rest and digest nervous system on. So I'm just going to straighten your legs, you're a little bit crooked, and already I might turn the heater down. Warming up. Jim's a very warm boy, so just having his presence in the room is warming things up nicely. Okay, so let's start right away with a little exercise to open up our spine, and to think about how to do that. We really want to control the rib popping. So sometimes it's really compensation. Pop our ribs when our shoulders won't open enough. So Jim, and everyone at home, can I invite you to bend your knees just a hip distance apart? Beautiful. And put your hands on your thighs. Great job. Cool. And then once your hands are on your thighs, just make fists and put your thumbs up. Beautiful. And we're going to take a big breath in. As we exhale, just make a semicircle, an arc shape, and bring your arms up. Beautiful. And then exhale, take your arms down. Beautiful. And again, you might just want to try and think if you can exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep going. As you're doing this, we're taking our shoulders down, not letting our shoulders lift up around our ears. And we are thinking about our shoulders rolling down the back as we do this. And the last thing we're thinking about is that our ribs aren't popping. So if you're not sure what that means, we're thinking that we are taking our front ribs to our back ribs a little bit. And I can see this is working because Jim's flat here. His ribs aren't popping out. If you're not sure, you could use one hand to go up and the other hand to just check underneath that rib and check that it isn't lifting, it's not popping as you come up. So this is looking really good for Jim, and maybe it's looking good for you as well. So you could take a progression. You could just make your hands into fists now, and maybe those fists can come all the way towards the mat behind you. So slow it down, exhale, exhale, exhale. Good job. And then inhale back. Beautiful. Can you lock your elbows? So Jim's got a wee bend in his elbows, so I'm going to ask him to lock his elbows. Maybe that's something you could do at home as well. Good, and still keeping those shoulders down. Beautiful. And then last of all, Jim's looking really good. Maybe you're looking really good as well, and you're ready for a progression. So the next progression, Jim, is to take our palms down onto our thighs, and then we'll take our hands up, and perhaps the backs of the hands can get all the way to the mat. So now we've reached Jim's capacity. His ribs have popped, so we can say we know that we've got to the place where he needs to practice. So let's really try and exhale as you come down, Jim. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And can you feel the muscles at the side of your ribs? So these serratus muscles at the outside, like fingers on the outside of our ribs here, we're challenging those. We're also stopping the pec minors getting involved and other parts of our shoulders that sometimes get over involved when we're trying to have nice, stable shoulders. Beautiful. Perfect. That's warmed up that area really nicely. Let's just warm up our hamstrings a little bit as well, because that's really common for us to have tight hamstrings. So again, you might be able to hold on to your big toe, but most of us can't. So you might have any kind of strap, a towel, a dressing gown cord, anything that can lengthen your leg. And then just put both hands into the straps, one strap in each hand. Can you lengthen this leg? If you can't, if your leg's bent, absolutely fine. No problem at all. Keep those shoulders rolling down the back, collarbones wide that you've just been practicing. And then think about, rather than bringing the leg towards you, take the leg away from you a little bit and think if you can actually draw this thigh into the hip socket. So can you tuck and turn on your glutes a little bit and feel that leg really being in the hip socket? Can you lengthen your waist away from you a little bit? So can we drop this hip? That's it. Drop this hip down. So we're lengthening through our side waist and dropping that hip down a little bit. Let's hold for another couple of breaths. Shaking is quite common here. Oh, yay, Amy, another motherless child. Great, this is a good time for you. I've been wondering how to grab you. Okay, and let's take it to the other side. So both hands in your strap or towel, whatever you've got. Don't worry about bringing your leg towards your face. Instead, take it away a little bit. Lengthen your side waist. So lengthening down the side waist to get a little bit more engagement of your glutes underneath. Feel that muscle underneath your glutes coming on. Great job. Hold it just for a couple more breaths here. Try and relax those shoulders. We've just opened them up. Beautiful. And then you can take that away. Beautiful. Nice work. And then rolling to one side, and let's come up to a standing position. So to Tadasana, which is mountain pose, a great place to start your practice. And I'll just adjust the screen. It's hard to see if we can see. Beautiful. So do you want to go side on, James? Yeah, and just come to the top of your mat. Beautiful. You could have your feet together or feet hip distance apart, just depending on you. For women, usually we're more comfortable with our feet hip distance apart. And then inhaling, bringing our arms up. And think right away, let's slow that down, bring your hands back down again, James. Let's think about what we've just been practicing. Let's exhale, slowly bring those arms up, keep your ribs down. And you might not bring your hands all the way over the head. If you couldn't bring them all the way over the head lying on your back, there's no way you're going to do it now without there being some kind of popping action. So Jim, bring your arms a little bit in front of you, straighten the elbows, and really reach those arms as if you could pull them away from you like a couple of pillars. So lock your elbows. Cool. Big breath in, and then exhale, bend the knees, come down to Uttanasana or forward fold. Beautiful. Tuck the chin. And again, if you had bent hamstrings just now in that stretch, really bend your knees here. Chest on your knees, and we're here for a couple of more breaths. So inhaling, stay here. Exhale, stay here. And can you think of your glutes, the buttocks coming down towards the backs of your legs, down towards your feet, so you can get that little tiny bit of lower tummy coming on. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. So straighten the legs. Hands might be on the shins, the thighs, or the ground, and then straighten your back. So Jim, roll the shoulders back, widen the collarbones, tuck the chin. Can you get the weight onto your toes a little bit more than your heels? Great. Good boy. Fantastic. And then exhale, hands back down to the mat again. Beautiful. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Roll the shoulders back, weight onto the toes, let yourself lean forward a little bit, and then exhale, hands back down again. One more time, inhaling, halfway lift. Beautiful. Widen the shoulder blades away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold, and just stay here for a few breaths. James, you might want to come to the front of the mat because you're at the back of the mat right now. The rest of us can stay wherever you are. Nice job. Beautiful. No, just where you were was perfect. Okay, let's keep going. Inhaling, arms up. Really slowly close those ribs as you bring the arms up. And again, for a long time, my arms were about here. There's no need for them to come any higher. Exhale, forward fold, weight towards the toes, bend the knees. Inhaling, halfway lift. Beautiful. Lift your head a little bit, widen the collarbones. Exhale, back down to forward fold. Hands nice and wide and step back to your plank position. Beautiful. And you could have your feet apart, feet together, but we've got our thighs on, buttocks are relaxed. And James, can you widen your collarbones, lift your bottom up a little bit more? Beautiful. Perfect. And then we can stay here for a breath. And as we exhale, bend the elbows down to chaturanga. So just bend the elbows down to the mat. Beautiful. Tuck the toes. So other way, James. Tuck the toes. Good. And then inhale, halfway lift. Pull that heart forward. So pull your hands to pull your heart forward. Beautiful. And then exhale, tuck your chin and lead with your thighs. So quads on to lead you back to down dog. Tuck the toes and back we go. Beautiful. And let that head hang. Open your feet, maybe hip distance apart again. Bend the knees if that helps you for straight back. It's all about the straight back here. And again, think about what we've just learned with those ribs. Can you tuck the ribs a little bit? Widen your collarbones. Spread your fingers wide and push through the knuckles of your fingers. So I can just see James's forefinger knuckles were rising, but he flattened them down beautifully when he heard me say that. So spread these fingers really wide. Cool. Now just put the weight into the heels of the hand a little bit and use that push to help drive your bottom back a little bit higher. Can you push your bottom back? That's it. Perfect. And then put the weight back into the fingertips again. We're keeping that. Nice job. And we still want a little tiny micro tuck of the tailbone. So we're still having a little bit of engagement at the lower belly. So tucking that tailbone a tiny bit so your lower belly's on. Arms are like pillars here. Inhale, look up. Straighten those elbows and jump or step or tiptoe to the front of the mat. And then once we're there, keep down, James. We're still down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, weight towards the toes. And then inhale, pull up your belly button, tuck that tailbone, roll up one vertebra at a time. It's really important to lift through those sides. So Amy, especially for you, I really want to see you pulling up your pelvic floors, drawing your glutes in. So when you come up and down, you're not putting pressure on that lower back. Coiling your glutes in, pulling your belly button up. So you're lifting nice and light here. So we're not using the back as a crane. Beautiful. And hands to heart center. Let's do that again. Inhaling. Beautiful. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Pull your heart forward with your arms and then close those ribs. Exhaling, forward fold. If you can reach the ground, push the ground to help coil your head in. Little tuck of the tailbone still. Inhaling, halfway lift again. Good. Exhaling, hands down. Hands are hip, nice and shoulder distance apart this time, and step back to your plank again. Beautiful. Take a breath here. Widen those collarbones. Exhale. Just bend the elbows to come down, or put your knees down first. Inhaling. Pull the mat back to lift yourself up. And exhale. Quads on to bring yourself back to down dog. Beautiful. And we're here for 5. Open your hands. Push through the knuckles. And 4. Widen your collarbones and find that space again, closing the ribs. 3, tuck the tailbone, a little micro tuck. Feel the flesh of the buttocks coming down towards your feet. And 1. I really want you to think about having arms like pillars. So make those arms really strong. Look up and maybe step, little tiny steps onto tiptoes if you're stretching out your hamstrings, or jump to the front of the mat. Kick those feet up. Beautiful. Stay down, James, and we're just staying down. Inhale, halfway lift again. It's so good for opening up those hamstrings. Exhaling, coming back down, weight in the toes, and then 1 vertebra at a time. So lift, lift, lift. Use those glutes, use your pelvic floors, use your belly to lift yourself up. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands back to Samasthita, back to mountain pose. Beautiful. So let's have a little look at our chair pose. So keep our legs open for this, and we're going to squat down to Utkatasana. So again, we've had our weight in our toes. Now we're wanting our weight to come to our heels. That's what we practice first, James, and do this at the wall. So if you've got a wall, it's great to use that. It just helps bring those that weight to the heels. And this is also a great place to practice what we've just been doing, which is those arm movements as well. So James, hands on the thighs. You might start with your thumbs up if that's what you've already done, fists or flat hands, and just do a couple of those movements. Again, closing the ribs to bring the hands down. Maybe one day you'll be able to bring your back of the hands, back of the hands onto the wall. But otherwise it's thumbs, fists would be the progressions. And you've probably plenty of time there. So up you come, James. You've got the quads of steel there. Let's do one more try. So big breath in, exhale, take yourself down, arms going, whatever position feels good for you. Maybe up a little bit higher. Maybe you can look up. As long as those ribs are under control, holding for 3, 2, 1, slide back up. Beautiful. So let's take that kind of feeling now into our Utkatasana, our chair or thunderbolt pose. Coming to the front of the mat again. And we can have our legs just maybe hip distance apart, so a bit closer, James. Beautiful. And straight away we inhale, arms up to your best position, close your ribs. Exhale, squat down into your chair pose. Try and get the weight onto the heels. Bring your shins back. Beautiful. Big breath in. Exhale. Forward fold. Uttanasana. All the way down to the ground, James. Good. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, forward fold again. And step your legs back to plank. Beautiful. Hold in plank. Head up, James. You've got that lovely long line. Drop your knees. And then pull your hands through your chest as you come down to the mat, all the way down. Beautiful. Inhaling, up dog. So pull your chest back, find that lovely lift. Exhale back to down dog. Tuck the toes. Beautiful. And let's think about having nice even hips here. So take a big breath in and lift your right leg up behind you. Flex the foot, flex the foot. So flex foot, that's it, flex the foot. That helps the knee to be locked and helps the back line come on, so that we can see James already it's made his hips much more level. Beautiful. Big breath in, look ahead of you, James, and exhale, step your right foot by your right hand and use your hands to help bring yourself forward. This is a lovely long lunge he's got. Perfect. Let's drop our buttocks. I think of the skin of the buttocks coming down. Turn the back heel at a 45 degree. Can you get the little toe side of the foot down? And you think about pulling your hip on the side here, just like we've already done. Pull this hip back a little bit and turn your glutes on. And then inhaling, lift both arms up again, straight ahead, looking straight ahead or looking up. Beautiful. Big breath in, and then exhale, hands back down to the mat, and you can take yourself back to plank. Beautiful. Head up, drop the knees, pull your hands back to lower all the way down to the mat. Inhaling up to your up dog, and exhale, turn those quads on to bring yourself back to down dog. Beautiful. Inhaling, lift your left leg up behind you, flex the foot so it's a straight leg and your hips are stable. And look forward as you exhale and bring your left leg in front of you. Great job. Turn the back heel of that right leg about 45 degrees, but you can make it more if that suits your hips. Plug that left hip in, pull that left hip back before lifting both arms up. Closing those ribs, roll the shoulders down the back. Beautiful. Big breath in. Exhale, hands back down to the mat and find your plank pose again. We're warming up. I bet you've taken off a layer of clothing now. And then again, drop your knees. Take yourself down to the mat. Pull your hands back to find that little lift. Exhale back to your down dog. And we'll take 5 breaths here. So eventually, down dog becomes a rest position. Keep those hands nice and wide. Push through those fingertips. Bend your elbows if you can. Great job. We're here for 3. Open your hands wide, James. Push with your knuckles. And 2. And 1. Inhaling, look up. Exhale, walk to the front of the mat. So keep those arms straight. Walk all the way up. Beautiful. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, drop the knees down, and we're back to Utkatasana, back to that warrior, that lightning bolt pose. So bend the knees back to that squash, lifting the arms up. Beautiful. Drop the knees there, Jim. We're in our chair pose. So from this position, drop the bottom, keep the bottom dropped, and just lift the torso up. Tuck the chin if you can. Tuck the tailbone. Beautiful. And then inhaling, arms up. Hands to our sides and back to Tadasana. Let's take about 5 breaths in Tadasana. So just looking straight ahead, you would shut your eyes, roll the shoulders back, find that width. Can you pull the muscles of the feet towards each other, towards the big toes? Can you maybe bring your weight forward over your toes and then back over your heels, and then find a place in the middle for them? This is a great place to think about a dedication, maybe an opportunity to be grateful that you're here, that you're looking after yourself. Beautiful. Let's do one more round of our sun salutation B. So big breath in and squat straight down to our chair pose. So exhaling, beautiful. Weight back in your heels if you can. Close those ribs. Inhaling. Exhaling, forward fold, so coming all the way down to the mat. You might be beginning to open up those hamstrings. You might be able to feel those hamstrings lengthening. Inhale, halfway lift. You might be able to begin to bring, James, hands on your thighs or shins. Beautiful. Roll the shoulders back. Weight on your toes again, darling. That's it. And then exhaling, hands down to the mat, stepping back to your plank. Great job. Drop the knees. Drop your knees. Pull your hands back to come down to the mat, and then tuck your toes. Can you tuck the toes? That's it. And coming up to your halfway lift. Exhale, back to down dog. Great job. Nice work. Inhaling, right leg flexes, straight leg, no bend in the knee, bring it up behind you. Exhale, look ahead, step it forward, and use your hands to help you if you haven't got the length in your hamstrings. And then drop that back heel, turn it to about 45 degrees, and what's the little side of the foot coming down, and your arch. So can you find a lifted arch here before coming all the way up? So bring both arms up, James. Perfect. Lift your arch, come onto the outside edge. Beautiful. Big breath in, exhale, hands back down to the mat, spiral back and kick back to your plank pose. Again, drop the knees, lift your head, James. Pull your hands back and come down to the mat. Beautiful. Inhaling a little halfway lift and exhaling back to down dog. Beautiful. So we're going to flex the left foot. So flex that left foot and bring it up behind you. It doesn't have to go very high. I was thinking of this thing in one long line. Exhale, look ahead, step it forward. And again, can we turn the back foot, get the outside pinky side toe, that's better, of the foot on the mat. Lift that arch and then bring your hands up again. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Roll the shoulders down the back, drop the ribs. And exhale, hands back down to the mat. Find your plank. From your plank, drop your knees. Pull your hands back. Tuck the toes up to up dog. And then back down to down dog. Beautiful. And if this gets too much for you, you could come down to a child's pose, Balasana, which is knees together, hands behind us, tucking the chin. We're here for 5 breaths. You could drop your knees. You could keep your knees up. Remember, these are just options and ideas I'm taking you through. Listen to your body and do what's best for it. If you can still breathe in and out nice and calmly, then kara, we keep doing what you're doing. If you're beginning to be ragged with your breath, if you can't breathe through your nose, then slow things down, take some time to rest. Okay, and then when you're ready, inhale, look up to the front of the mat, and you can take lots of little steps or jump to the front of the mat. Beautiful. Straight into that those bent knees, James, and up to our Utkatasana chair pose. Beautiful. Tuck your chin, James, lengthen the crown of the head. Beautiful. And then straight up to our hands up, hands to heart center. And we'll just take about 5 breaths here in our mountain pose again. So again, just establish that you have got your feet not too far forward, not too far back, that you're in the middle of your foot, that you can push through the big toe, the pinky toe, the inner heel, the outer heel. You're feeling nice and even in your feet. Letting your breath begin to settle back to those 5 counts in, 5 counts out. So I'm going to grab a couple of blocks for James. If you haven't got blocks, you could use cushions, couch cushions, books, or maybe you've got the edge of a chair, or maybe bend your knees a bit more. That's okay for you. So we're going to take Parsvottanasana. And James, I'm going to ask you to keep your right foot where it is, but step your left leg back about 1 metre. So just keep your stand up. Yeah, that's it, perfect. And again, we sort of turn this back foot about 30 degrees, 45 degrees. The heels could be in line with each other if you've got enough capacity in your hips. But if you've got any SI joints or lower back issues, have a bigger space, more like a railway line heels, railway lines rather than tightrope lines. So Amy, that's you again. Great job. Nice to see you, Colin. Okay. So when you're ready, we're going to bring our arms up again, close those ribs. Beautiful. Exhale, bring your hands just straight ahead of you. And can we lengthen here? So drawing our right hip back, left, that's it. Right hip back, left hip forward. No bend in the leg. And you could bring your hands down to the mat on either side of your foot or down to your blocks. Straighten your legs, straighten both legs, James. You might need to turn those blocks a little bit higher, come into your fingertips perhaps. Beautiful. So what can we do here to straighten our back? Maybe you Do you want to make your stance a little bit longer? Do you want to make your back, go back a little bit further? And we want to pull the front hip back, then the back hip forward a little bit. Soften those buttocks if you can. Come onto your tippy fingers, the very tops of your fingers. You can roll these shoulders back. Great job. Nice job. Perfect. So we're just here for a couple more breaths. Keep, if you can, pull your chest forward. So actively pull your hands back so you can lift and lengthen your heart forward a little bit without collapsing. So you can get a little bit more lift in your heart. That's it. Good job, you. One more breath here. And then take our hands onto our hips. Squeeze your elbows back as much as you can. Squeeze those elbows again to lift your heart, to open up your collarbones, tuck the chin. So you're getting a lovely lengthening feeling here again. Can you put your hands on your hips, James, with your fingers down and squeeze elbows together? Squeeze elbows together even more. Squeeze elbows together. It's hard work, I know. And then we can take our hands down to the mat, down to the blocks again. Tuck the chin and let yourself completely relax forward. So you've got a really big hamstring stretch here. So straighten this front leg, don't let it bend. And come onto your fingertips again if you need to find a bit more comfort. And completely relax here. So let your torso relax right down, James, as much as you can. Can you bend more than that? That's it. That's it. That's it. No more pushing. He's just perfect. The shape he is making is perfect. Surrender here. But because our hands are above our shoulders, we're inclined to let those shoulders collapse. Can you bring your shoulders back? Can you close the ribs a little bit? One more big breath in. Hands on the hips again. Squeeze elbows together. And imagine someone was pulling your elbows to lift you all the way back up. Great job. Step forward to the front of the mat. Great. And step your opposite leg back. Nice job. So again, you might want to even turn this little bit, this toe further in to help you. And bring our front hip back. Good. And our back hip forward. And then lengthen down to the ground or maybe to your blocks or whatever little prop you've got there. So we really want to be nice and even through the hips. So keep rotating the hips. Soften your buttocks if you can. They stop the hips from relaxing. Keep the front leg straight if you can. And push the weight into the inner edge, that big toe side. So I can see James's big toes lifting. Can you straighten that knee again, James? And come onto your fingertips. You're leaning. That's it. Perfect. Keep pushing into the big toe side of your feet. Keep lifting your knees. Keep lifting your left hip back, James, right hip forward. And then take our hands onto our hips. Roll and squeeze the shoulders back. Good. Holding for a few more breaths. Keep pushing into those big toe side of your feet. Big breath in and then exhale. Hands down to the mat or the blocks. Tuck the chin and completely relax here. It's a very big hamstring stretch. We're here for 3. Can you straighten your front leg if it's bent? 2. And 1 again. Take the hands onto the hips, squeeze the elbows and use that lift to bring yourself back up to standing again. Beautiful job. And just step to the front of your mat. Perfect. You might want to put these blocks at the front of the side of the mat now. Perfect. So walk to the front of your mat, James. Beautiful job. And let's take a big, strap if you've got one. So James, you have got a strap there. And we'll just come down to the mat and do a little bit of a stretch through the front of the quads. So come down to the mat, James, lie on your tummy. Now just because I haven't got a watch with me, so
You can get the computer.
Oh, I can use the computer. Yay. Oh, yeah, look at that. Perfect. I can see the time. Okay, so we're just going to open up the front of these quads a little bit. So stay down where you are, darling. It's all good. They can see you. I can see you. That's perfect. So I want you to take your right hand in front of you so it's perpendicular to your body, palm down. Great job. And use that to help let yourself stretch up. So you're in a little mini sphinx pose. So James, pull your elbow towards your body so that your chest lifts up. Nice job. And we're going to use that. That's great. And then you can lift your opposite leg up. So that's right, perfect. And maybe you've got the capacity to reach your foot with your hand, or maybe you use a sock, a strap, a towel to hook around your leg, just depending. Great job. And then we don't want to lift the hips, so you might find that certainly in my body, this side would want to lift. So really draw that hip down as much as you can. And keep pushing your right hand into the mat to roll your heart up, James. Can you put a little bit more effort? Yeah, that's it. And then keep rolling this down. Check your glutes. Turn those glutes off if you can. Soften the buttocks. You're feeling a good stretch, James? So you might be able to, because Jim's got a lot of flexibility here, you might be able to turn your hand on top of the foot. You know, you've got your sore toes, so that might not be so good for your foot. And now he's got a little bit skewed. So again, draw your both hip bones down to the mat. You'll probably feel a really big stretch in the centre of your quad here. Is that what you're feeling it, James? We're just here for 3, 2, and 1. That's quite enough. I know it's pretty intense. Let yourself relax completely. Have your head down. Relax your head and your hands. Maybe let your bottom wiggle from side to side. Have a little break there. It's pretty intense. Okay, let's try that on the left-hand side. So draw your left hand again, palm down, in towards your body so that you can lift that heart to begin with. And then reach your right hand back. Can you hold on? If you couldn't hold on, you would bring something on the front of the leg. I'll just show James, and you'd hold on to it with some straps or a towel, a sweatshirt even. Okay. Once you've got that grip, perhaps on this side, James, you could show them that you can hold on to. Can you get your heel of your hand on top of your toes? Yep, you can. And then tuck that big toe underneath you. Cool. And then what can you do to be nice and even in your chest? Can you even up your chest? Can you roll that? Can you roll your right hip down? Keep yourself nice and even. And then let your pecs open. So let that right shoulder release, James. Let yourself completely relax there. That's it. And let it kick you up. And instead, bring some activity into that left hand. It's quite collapsed. Push through your left hand. Bring it closer to your heart, maybe to get a little bit more lift. Nice job. Looks really good. And look how active he's been to this opposite leg. It's really helping him to stabilise. So I'm pretty impressed with how flexible your quads are, because I know they are so strong. And then relax back down again. Beautiful job. So we're going to head towards both legs. And if that's something which isn't going to work for you, you could maybe do the side that was tightest again, or go into child's pose if you feel like this is not something that you would like to do. But remember, backs which are sore love extension, although it feels like the last thing we want to be doing with them. So this time, head straight ahead. Beautiful. And we can bring our arms behind us. It takes a bit of practice, but we want both legs to come up at the same time. So that's it. And then we want to be able to reach both ankles at the same time. So again, James, just before you do that, James, if you knew that wasn't possible, you just would put a strap or something around right away so you're nice and even. So that if you do know, if you could reach it on one side, chances are you could reach it on both. We want to be able to get our hands around both ankles at the same time if we could. So let's open up the torso first. So roll the shoulders back, reach the arms away from us. Beautiful. Can you bring your head up as well a little bit, James? Beautiful. And then relax back down. Good. Let's try that again. Arms at our sides, palms up, roll the shoulders back. Lengthen the arms away from us. close your ribs if you can, and then glide your upper ribs up off the mat. Beautiful. Get that beautiful lift. Holding for 3, 2, and 1, and then relax back down again. Kia toe. Maybe turn your head to one side if that's nice. Let everything go. And you take your hands onto your hips again, and then turn your hands from on your hips so that you lower your hands down so your thumbs are on your buttocks. So for some of us, this is me included, our glutes, our top upper glutes will come on in this position, and we really want them to stay relaxed. So draw those glutes down, down, down towards your feet. Encourage them to stay off. Roll the shoulders back. And can you roll the shoulders back so much that you can lift up again, James? Can you lift your shoulders up off the mat? Soften those glutes. So turn those glutes off if you can. They're like rocks. Can you turn them off? It's pretty tricky. It's something that we've got to practice, really. It seems counterintuitive, but we'll get a lot better results if we can do that. And our tailbone can then find a really safe place. It can get trapped otherwise. Okay, roll back down again. Okay, we'll do that one more time. So we're going to bring our hands back behind us again to locust pose. Roll the shoulders back. Good. Lift your torso up if you can, James. And then can you bend both knees at the same time? Flex the feet if you can. James, can you flex the feet? Perfect. Reach back and hold on to your ankles or shins. And if you can, you'd reach both back at the same time. And then from there, can you use the kick of the legs to lift your heart up off the mat? And maybe you can use the kick of the legs to lift these knees up off the mat. So can you tuck your tailbone a little bit, James? Tuck that tailbone to get the knees up. Massive stretch here. Bring your knees together if you can. 3, soften your bottom. 2, tuck the tailbone. 1, and kia toe, relax completely. Beautiful job. So when we're in a position like that, we still have the ability to tuck that tailbone a little bit. And that's what we're going to try and do in the second set. And that's the last one, I promise. So James, slowly glide both legs up again towards your bottom. Flex the feet. Cool. We don't want the knees any further apart than hip distance. Roll the shoulders back, and can you try and hold on to can you lift those legs up off the mat a little bit and hold on to your ankles with your hands. Try and get them at the same time if you can. And then once you've got that grip, try and lift the knees this time. Try and lift the knees. So tuck the tailbone and feel the thighs or the knees lifting up off the mat. If you can, roll the shoulders back, lift the head, and lift a little bit more of your heart up off the mat. Holding here for 3. Relax your chest, relax these pecs, let them just open. 2 and 1. Have a break. Turn your head to one side and kia toe, relax. There's nothing I find more tiring than a back extension. How did you enjoy that, Jim? Good. It's a big stretch and it's a lovely counter to a forward folding that we do. So it's a bit intense. So we're going to take this kind of feeling now back to the wall for Nattarajasana, dancer's pose. So if you did have a strap, you could loop it. If you haven't got a strap, that's okay. I'll show you. I'll demo without the strap and James can demo with the strap. Is that okay? So it's quite a big loop if you have got a strap. So we're just going to face a wall here. Great. And I'm arm distance away from the wall. Great job. And you can choose, I'm going to pick up my right leg, but you might prefer your left leg if you feel like you've got a stronger leg. And we're just going to bring our right hand behind us, weight into the left leg. So that means weight into the left big toe, lift the left thigh, maybe hand on the left hip, and hold on to the inside of the right foot. So I'll just show you that again. I put my hand out, and hold on with my thumb side, hold on to the inside of my foot. And just stay there for a second or two. You've got the wall if you need it. Then you could put your palm on the wall and let yourself lean forward a little bit, but just a small amount. Close your ribs and see if you can begin to let that leg kick up behind you. If you've got the strap, you'd have the strap over your foot. So just like we've just done, we're thinking about right hip forward, left hip back, right hip forward, left hip back. Use the kick of the hands to open up the shoulder and just keep going. Getting that lovely feeling of extension. We're opening up the shoulder, feeling the shoulder blade gliding down the back, gliding down the back, gliding down the back. And if you did have a strap, you could put it over your shoulder and then literally pull that leg up behind you. It's the same feeling. Feel that knee coming up behind you, James. Knee up. This knee lifting behind. So it's your kicking behind. Is that as far as you feel comfortable going? Yep. That's cool. Okay, and then it's come down to standing again. Find your composure. Weight into the big toes. Lift the thighs. Take your left hand. Bend the left foot and hold on to the inside of that left leg. And just take a couple of breaths there. Both knees are nice and even. Let the pull of the foot open this left shoulder and stretch this pec muscle. And then after a few breaths there, once you feel like you've got your balance, you can let yourself just lean forward. Any amount, use the wall to help you. Keep tucking the tailbone, lifting the knee, tucking the tailbone, lifting the knee. And you could reach your hand up, bringing left hip forward, right hip back. Just keeping on going. Use this to help, use the kick of the leg to lift and find that length through that upper back again. Can you lengthen your left hip down, make the waist nice and long, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up. How did you go on that side? Did that feel better? Yeah. Good boy. Let's come back down to the mat now. So we'll just take a couple of other ways to open up our back here. So sit up at the wall again, and we can put both legs out in front of us. If you're not able to sit nice and straight up at the wall, then you could absolutely sit up on your rolled up mat, up on a blanket, up on a towel, up on a cushion, whatever you need to do. So you've got nice, so I would jump up on something, James, because your tailbone's tucked a little bit. I'll just get you a blanket. Always use props so you can find your best posture and feel your best as well. Yay. And let's bend our right knee just straight into our chest, both feet on the floor and both active through both feet. So I'm pushing into that. We're pushing into our inside of our feet, pushing into the inside edge of the foot there. Cool. And then open the foot out. And if you have the capacity, try and get that heel nice and close to your pubic bone. So it's actually pushing against your pubic bone. Tuck the tailbone here a little bit. So you're grounding through both sit bones before lengthening forward. And again, Amy, really make sure you're tucking of the tailbone, pulling up your pelvic floors, pulling up that lower belly, so you're supporting that lower back. And if you have blocks, absolutely use them, so you can bring your hands up and have that lovely straight back here. And if you're like James and your leg is up quite high up off the ground, you could also support that with a block or a rolled up towel. Otherwise, try and open it out. Think of pushing this knee out. Push this knee out, reach it away from you. And then we can exhale and let yourself still keep those sitting bones grounded. Don't let them lift up off the mat as you reach forward any amount. And knowing the people who are there having a wee look, you probably aren't going to go much further. They've got hamstrings. And once we're here, we're being comfortable in an uncomfortable place. So just tuck the chin. If you can, pull your hands back to lengthen and lift your heart forward. Tuck your chin again. Pull your hands so you can lengthen your heart forward and relax back down again. So James, quite active through your hands, trying to pull that heart forward a little bit more if you can. We're just here for 3 more breaths. Sighing it in and sighing it out. Sighing it in and sighing it out. Use your hands to help you coil all the way back up again. Nice job. Let's try Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So knowing that one side can be quite different than the other. If you can, bringing that heel as close to a pubic bone as you can. That little micro consciousness in this lower belly here, flexing both feet. They're both active. And again, a big breath in, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, bring your hands down. Use the pull of the hands to lift that chest forward if you can. And then exhale forward a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, curl. And just stay here for a couple more breaths. Jim, can you flex your right foot? Yep, and try not to let it roll out. Try to have it nice and straight. Beautiful. Okay, and then coming back up to standing. To sitting. Let's have both legs ahead of us now. Again, flex both feet. You can absolutely, James, why don't you put a little block underneath your knee. So we don't want this to become a lower back problem or issue or pain there. So if you don't have very bendy hamstrings, it's a great idea to put something underneath those knees. And even see how that feels. And if after a few minutes you could lower it or you could make it higher, you'll know if you feel it in your lower back and you don't want to feel it there. So flex both feet again. Inhale, use your hands to pull your chest forward. Exhale, creep the hands forward any amount. Inhale, pull the chest forward, lengthen it forward. Good. Exhale, can you bring your big toes together? Inhale again, lengthen the heart. So if you could lengthen this chest over and drape it over your thighs. Exhale. One more time, James. Pull and relax completely. If you can reach your hands, try and pull them with both hands or even the palm of one hand and hold on to the wrist with the other. So just whatever you can there. We're here for a couple more breaths. Tuck your chin. Relax completely. Big breath in and a big breath out. Beautiful. And then coming back up. Let's just move away from your wall a little bit. We want to be able to get our hand on the wall, so not too far away. Bring your right leg into your chest this time. And big breath in. Exhale, bring your right arm across and hug onto your leg. And your left hand's reaching behind you with a bent elbow. And as if you could pull the wall away from you. And then as if you could drag your hand down. So we're pulling and dragging to help again open up the front of this chest and to feel our scapula rolling down the back. And you let that shoulder relax down. So draw the shoulder away from the ear as much as you can. pull the wallpaper and pull it towards you and down a little bit more. And then can we draw this front leg away from us, so drawing it towards your feet, this thigh, so you get a little bit more twist. Think of twisting your ribs, inhaling to lift, exhaling to twist. Both sit bones are nice and stable. Inhaling to lift, flex the feet, push your big toes into the mat. Exhale and twist. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and twist. So pulling this thigh down towards your foot. Pulling that thigh to get some nice torque and twist. Twisting out that waist, wringing our waist out, wringing our organs out. Then we'll flush them with fresh blood when we release back. How's that feel? It's a great stretch. Let's try that on the left. So bringing that left foot in towards your bottom, pushing this big toe into the mat, and this foot is flexed. It's supporting us. Both sit bones on the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, holding on to your, reaching around your knee, and then again, a bent elbow and hand onto the mat. Roll the shoulder back, and we're pulling the wall down, and we're pulling it behind us a little bit to help us twist. And at the same time, pulling this leg away from us. A lot of pulling going on. Inhale, lengthen. James, can you flex that right foot? Yep. Exhale, twist. Think of the ribs doing the twisting here. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. Flex the foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Active through this hand, pulling, drop the shoulder down. Can you drop the shoulder down? Let your elbow drop down. Maybe draw the hand down away from you a little bit. Down here. One more, pull this thigh in. Use that to tilt, twist now. Other way, twisting this way. This way. And let's unwind. Unwinding back. Cool. Beautiful job. Let's give ourselves one nice little stretch with a fish pose. And then we'll come down to the mat. So for a fish pose, just bring your hands to your sides. Knees can be bent. Tuck the chin and push your hands and push your arms underneath you so your chest begins to lift and lift and lift. I'm going to take my hair tie out. And maybe you can lift so much that you can slide one hand under your bottom and the other hand under your bottom, and then keep lifting and lifting and lifting. So you've got your palms side by side, drawing away from your bottom. Maybe you can lift your chin a little bit and again slide a tiny bit more. Maybe your forearms are closer to each other, or your upper arms. For that lovely big lift and stretch in the front of the chest. You could stay here with bent legs, or you could lengthen your legs out. Keep lifting up through your heart. So keep staying here for another couple of breaths. And you broaden through your collarbones. A little lift. Can you roll one shoulder and the other underneath you? That's it. Keep rolling. That's it. Then let your chin open this way to get on. Lift up there. Yeah, there you go. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep lifting. Good enough? Okay. And then let everything go. Beautiful job. So let's just finish where we started with a hamstring stretch. So, and it's a little bit more strapped just over there by your block. A little bit like a benchmark to see if there's been any changes in your body. And then we will take a lovely twist before Shavasana. So you could draw your right leg into your chest, take the strap over the heel, and draw that leg up. Flex the foot. Maybe lengthen your left leg away from you or keep it bent, depending on your capacity. And again, can we lengthen our right hip down and away from us? So lengthen that right hip down, 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 down. It's a little bit more stretchier than last time. Both hands, one hand on each strap. So your shoulders can be nice and wide. I think we've just spent all this time opening up our shoulders, so we don't want to now, at the last hurdle, let them tighten. Haere tonu, just keep going. Perfect. And then big breath in, and exhaling, you can take, put your leg down, you can take that right leg over to the left, so it ends up being in a big twist. You can let your hips come off the mat, so you're stacking one hip on top of the other. Maybe if you're like Jim, you've got yourself squashed against the wall, absolutely take yourself away so you can lengthen yourself out as much as possible. Beautiful. So James, can you straighten? Yeah, straighten both legs as much as possible. Good. And then let your arms open up nice and wide. You might, if it's comfortable for you, be able to have your arms relax completely. Some of us would have the capacity to hold on to our big toe with our left hand. Yeah, you've got a bit stretchier. Shall I move you away from the wall a bit more? You could put your foot against the wall. It'll give you something to stretch against. Push that toe against the wall. Yeah, and that will help you stretch out this leg, trying to not have a bend in the leg. Great. Relax this chest again one more time. And we're getting it again. Can we draw this top hip down? Shoulder on the mat. Draw the top hip down. Big breath in. Exhale, big twist. Is that okay? Big breath in and exhale, draw that hip down. So I'm pushing his shoulder on the mat and I'm drawing this hip down towards his feet. And let's take a big breath in and then bring both ourselves back to neutral, back to a strap, or maybe you can hold on to the back of the thigh, the back of the left thigh if you haven't got a strap. Maybe lengthen that left leg up, right leg along the mat. Both feet are flexed, both quads are on. And can you draw your left hip down, 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 so much that those muscles of the lower left glute start wrapping around your leg bone there. Any changes on that side? No? That might do yoga every day. Need to be changes. And then we'll take this into a big twist as well. So just let this left leg come across the body all the way down to the mat. If that's too much of a stretch, you could pop it up onto a block, up into a cushion or a bolster, and then let yourself lengthen and open again. And once you've found some reasonable comfort here, we really want to think about drawing this hip down, lengthening through the side waist and keeping our shoulder on the mat. So big breath in, exhale. So sometimes our front chest muscles just don't let go, and that can impact what our shoulders can do. Big breath in. Great job. And then we can let ourselves come back to neutral again. Good job. Okay, roll to one side. We'll just come to a seated position, and you could absolutely sit on a block. You could be in Virasana with your bottom in between your feet, or you could be in any cross-legged position that suits you whatsoever. We've got one last stretch. Both arms ahead of us. Take your right arm under left, and then maybe hold on to your shoulders, hold on to the backs of the hands, or maybe that double twist, and just reaching the arms away from you. Feeling how closed our ribs can be here. Beautiful. couple more seconds. Breathing here. Maybe can you lift your elbows a little bit, James? You feel a bit more of a stretch when you do that. And then let's open our arms up. This time left arm under right. One, backs of the hands, or maybe palms together. One day maybe thumbs together. And then gliding your arms up, feeling those ribs dropping down one more time. Just bringing that awareness to that part of our body, what it feels like to have soft ribs. Try and keep that soft rib consciousness now as we take Gomukhasana. So right arm up, bend the elbow, and we really want to have this bicep in line with our ear, so trying to bring it back as much as possible, but without these ribs popping, so lower those ribs if you can. And again, you might have a strap in your right hand, a sock, a towel, anything, before you then let your left hand just swim, swim, swim up. Once you can reach both hands, once you've got a strap or anything holding, then again, drop the ribs, drop the chin, and feel this lift happening in the very top of your heart, the widening of the collarbones, the drawing of the bicep back behind you. We're here just for 3. Can you bring your head back, push it against, yep, that's it, tuck your chin. 2, roll your shoulders down the back. Beautiful. 1. Nice job, James. Cool. Let's try that the other way. So left arm up, draw the hand behind you, closing those ribs. Cool. Swimming your hand up, and if it doesn't reach, and often one side doesn't, what can you do to straighten your head? You're a little bit, yeah. And again, just taking a few breaths here. Noticing whatever little compensation. Did we just do this side? Oh, for me, maybe I modelled, maybe I said one thing and did the other. So again, just being aware of closed ribs, lengthening through the crown of the head, drawing your biceps behind you, externally rotating your upper arm. Nice job. Let's just finish with some shoulder clocks. Shoulders up to the ears, relax them back down a couple of times. Beautiful. Shoulders forward and then shoulders back. And just hopefully not popping our ribs for this to happen or moving our chin for this to happen. Great job. We'll just take a little twist. So just wherever you are, turning to the right, push your hand against your thigh, get a little twist, twisting at the ribs, twisting at the shoulders, looking over. And the other way, twisting. Use your hand to pull and widen your collarbones, pull your chest up. Beautiful. Twisting is a fantastic way of releasing any tension. Let's come down to the mat and we can take our Shavasana. So this is a great time to put a sweatshirt on, cover your eyes with a sleeve or an eye pillow if you happen to have one. And if you did have a little blanket, it could go underneath the back of the head. Just a simple, sorry James, would you like a blanket, James? Okay. You could turn your lights down lower. You could let your feet relax completely now. Let the heels can be together but the toes apart. Thighs and completely open. Maybe your hands at your sides, let the palms open, so we're back to externally rotating. So little habits like standing with our hands back like this rolls our shoulders. So just being aware that if we have our palms side to side or even opened, help open up these shoulder blades. The same thing when you're lying down, just opening up your arms will just begin to open up your shoulders as well. So we can relax our feet now. They don't need to be doing any work. We can relax our calves, they're nice and heavy on the mat. Relaxing your thighs, the fronts of the thighs and the backs of the thighs. And relaxing the buttocks. Letting your breath begin to slow down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Fully releasing your belly as you exhale. Fully releasing your chest muscles, your shoulder muscles. Upper arms relax. Forearms relax. Maybe make fists and let your hands relax. Maybe let those shoulders relax one more time. The back of the neck, the front of the neck. We can give our jaw a little wriggle, one side to the other, and then teeth apart. Let the tongue relax, be nice and heavy. That little space between our eyes, our third eye can be relaxed. And we're just looking back in our eyes towards the back of our skull. Temples and skin on the forehead are relaxed and our head is relaxed. Let the ground take your weight. There's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to be. I'm watching the clock. So just stay here, stay in your body and let all the little changes that our practice has made begin to integrate themselves into your body. Enjoy your Shavasana. It's your treat for working hard. So stay here just for a little bit longer. Would you like something over your eyes, James? Just bringing your attention back to your breath again. I invite you to take your right hand onto your belly, your left hand onto your heart, and just noticing the rise and fall of your hand on your belly. Again, this is a lovely opportunity to feel some gratitude. I'm certainly very grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with James and I and to practice yoga with us. And maybe you're grateful for your beautiful body that is able to move with mindfulness. Let's roll onto our right hand side. Maybe cradle your head in your bicep. And then when you're ready, you can use those strong arms to help push yourself back up to a comfortable seated position again. Great job. And we'll just take our hands to heart center. And we'll close our class. Tihe, Modi Order, Namaste. May you sleep well tonight, and I'll look forward to seeing you again with James. This looks like it could be a pretty good time. If you've got small children, let me know if this is a good time for you, and then we can do it again. Okay, take care. Mā te wā.